quick thoughts on Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which I just saw. I'm not going to have any spoilers. I just wanted to share some non-structured thoughts coming out of it. Now, I love this movie series. I love George Miller as a director. And I loved this newest movie. But the Mad Max movies, and I think George Miller and his particular style, I know they're not for everybody. So make your own decisions. But yeah, I really love this movie. I can't wait to see it again, hopefully soon. I did have some hesitations going in. Well, one, I mean, George Miller, he's a director who I should have learned to trust. He's going to make whatever decisions he wants to make. He's going to make the exact movie he wants to make. And I should just defer to his wisdom because he's right. He's reached that level of credibility, at least with me. But knowing that this movie is a prequel and that it is going to be filling in the blanks of a character, the character being Furiosa, in a movie series where I think it is a virtue that you don't know much about the characters in it and you don't know much about the world, and you don't need to, because that's not what it's about. I think that's one of the things that's special about the Mad Max movie. But George Miller decided he wanted to tell this story. He wanted to tell you more about Furiosa and her life. And if you read Kyle Buchanan's book about the making of Mad Max Fury Road, Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, he talks a lot about how Miller had written the script for Furiosa even before they had produced Fury Road, and that he gave it to Charlize Theron to read so that she has this in her head when she's performing Furiosa back in 2015. So like when Charlize Theron says she's looking, what are you looking for? Redemption. And you can see it on her face. You know that the actress back then is literally playing all the things that are happening in this movie. So that makes it kind of a special prequel. I mean, I generally just don't care for prequels, but this is the exception because it was all there. It's already there in the performances and in the filmmaking of the earlier movie. But more than that, it's just an amazing action movie on a huge scale with just top-notch every single craft, the editing, the sound, the music, the cinematography, all the performances, also top-notch. But again, it's a very different kind of Mad Max movie. In fact, it doesn't really feel like a Mad Max movie at all. For one, Mad Max is not in it, but the vibes are different. Aesthetically, it looks like Fury Road, but its story is like more classic Hollywood. Like this is at least in the script terms, the most conventional Hollywood movie. For one thing, it takes place over a long period of time. It's a character that you watch grow over the years. And I would have said, I don't want to see that in my Mad Max movie, but now I've seen it and like, oh, it's so interesting to see basically like a Gone with the Wind sort of narrative happen, but in the world of the Mad Max post-apocalypse. George Miller, in an interview with David Sims of The Atlantic that was published this week, he said, quote, "People are saying, I think in a good way, that it's different from Fury Road. And that's what you try for. A story always needs something fresh so that there's no stasis in that evolution. And yet it has to be familiar." End quote. I don't want to get too much into what else is different about it, but he's exactly right. Like, why would you just want to see the same stuff over and over again, especially when it's the same artist doing it over and over again? He wants to tell you a different story and tell it in a different way, but there's still all the stuff you love about the Mad Max movies. He somehow comes up with ways to top himself in terms of imagination, of how you can do a car chase and new weirdo shit for people to be doing as they chase you in your car or your tanka. Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy, so brilliant in this role. And, Charlize Theron is iconic, maybe one of the great action movie performances of all time. And Anya Taylor-Joy holds her own so well. I mean, she's very much copying Charlize's mannerisms, but I say copying. She does justice to the performance. And like Mel Gibson in the old movies, you can kind of take for granted how much weight she's carrying because she doesn't speak a lot, but acting is way more than speaking. She's so good. Just hats off to her. And then Chris Hemsworth, holy shit. I didn't know he had this in him, but he fits this movie like a glove. Like you've never seen a performance like this from him. He is the Mad Max movies. People always say they're very Looney Tunes. And this is maybe the most Looney Tunes character, the character he plays, Dementus. He is talking in this ridiculous voice. He's such a cartoon character, but it makes him all the more scary. And then at the end, there's basically a moment between him and Anya Taylor-Joy at the end that is like so complex, so unexpected. Such a spin on the hero and villain confrontation. can't say much more, but you'll know it if you see the movie. All of that being said, I know that I get the sense that this could be sort of an alienating movie for fans of the Mad Max franchise who expect a certain thing and get something else. It could maybe be like an Iron Man 3, but I like Iron Man 3 and I like Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. So go check it out in a theater on the biggest screen if you can. My local theater, the IMAX screen looked like it had a smudged lens, so it kind of looked like shit, but still a great experience. Go see Furiosa.